Mark. Did you manage to speak to Sylvia about my new ideas for the book?
I'm sorry. No, James, was it? No, I haven't found the right time yet.
Good morning, Mark. I thought you might like to know that I have just spoken to my lawyer, who has confirmed that I have grounds to sue you and your wife for unfair dismissal.
Look, I know you're upset, Jennifer, but the fact is, Sylvia needs an agent who can give her their full and undivided attention, and I, as her husband, can do that.
But I made Sylvia. She would not be a best-selling author were it not for me.
Sylvia's talent got her where she is today.
No one would even know that Sylvia had any talent if I hadn't worked my backside off to get her published.
Mark! Mark! Have you seen this? I take it this is your handiwork. They've published the last 2 pages of my novel, word for word. I'll have to change the whole ending now.
That's probably no bad thing. But I'm not behind the leak.
It must have happened when I had to come looking for you yesterday. That was the only time that my laptop was left on.
Oh, come on. It could happen when you were in the bath. You had your music on so loud, someone could have dropped a bomb in the bedroom, you wouldn't have heard it.
What are you looking at?
Well done, Sylvia. Alienating fans is just what you need to do right now.
Okay, team, stand by. We've got a case. Thank you.
Welcome to the Academy of Criminal Investigation. A serious crime has taken place in the hotel above, and you are here to crack it. If you do, access into the Academy is assured. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ewan. I'm 12 years old and I'm from Aberdeen. I think I'd be a good detective because I'm just as smart as Inspector Clouseau.
Hi, my name's Ellen. I'm 12 years old and I come from Aberdeen, and I think I'll be a good detective because I love solving mysteries.
Hi, my name's Keith. I'm 12 years old, come from Aberdeen. I think I'd make a good detective because not only do I look smart, but I am smart.
Well, you sound like you got the right credentials. I'll let you know what I know. Sylvia Harper, multi-million selling authoress of children's books, is here at Kilcranman House Hotel to write the latest sequel of her book. The last 2 pages of the final chapter has been leaked to a tabloid newspaper, and the article says that the paper obtained the material via texted photos from a source close to the author. Now, this is Sylvia's agent, Jennifer Cumberland. Now, she's been looking after Sylvia's affairs for many years now, but she was sacked yesterday. Sylvia's husband, Mark Harper's, taking over from Jennifer as Sylvia's agent. He asked me for a replacement keycard for the room they were staying in at about noon yesterday. Mark said he'd just been out for a jog, so he thought his keycard must have fallen out of his pocket. If he's telling the truth, it is possible that somebody used the missing card to get at the Harper's room. Also staying at the hotel is James Mooney. He's a devoted fan of Sylvia and her books, so that's what I know, but I think you should hear from the suspects themselves.
I finally finished the last chapter of the book around 1:30 p.m. yesterday when Mark was away having lunch. When he came back, he told me that he'd just had an argument with Jennifer and told her that he would be replacing her as my agent. Well, the next thing I know, Jennifer's banging on the connecting door, being very aggressive. I said to Mark he could deal with it, and I went into the ensuite and I started running a bath. That was about 2:20. I was enjoying a good long soak in the bath when Mark came in and he asked me if I needed anything. I said I'd love a sandwich. Well, 20 minutes later, he still wasn't back, so I went to look for him. He was downstairs at reception, arranging for us to change rooms so that we wouldn't have to be next door to Jennifer. We went back up to the room about 3:20, and I remember noticing that the mouse had moved to the other side of my laptop. Now, I just assumed that Mark had been using it when I was in the bath. I'm left-handed and he's right-handed. We moved up to the second floor suite shortly after that, and I never left the room again until this morning, because I didn't want to bang into Jennifer. So the only time that my laptop was left unattended was when I went downstairs to find Mark.
If you ask me, I think Sylvia leaked the plot to the press herself. She's obsessed about the fact that the last Wolfswood novel sold less than the previous one. She's been hassling me for weeks to come up with good publicity stunts to raise the profile of the new novel. Of course, I'm furious about being sacked. And why Sylvia thinks Mark has what it takes to be an agent, I do not know. He's just a failed writer. I heard them having a huge argument yesterday in their room just before lunch. Mark told me later that he had suggested some changes to the ending of the book, and Sylvia wouldn't listen to him. I said he was mad if he thought Sylvia would listen to his advice on writing.
I went for lunch alone because Sylvia was busy working. Jennifer came and joined me, and we ended up having an argument. Jennifer's made a fortune off the back of Sylvia's books, but instead of being grateful, she slags her off behind her back and spends more and more of her time with her other clients. That's why we decided that I should take over from her. We weren't going to tell Jennifer right away. Well, Sylvia didn't want the stress while she was finishing off the book, but I'm afraid I lost it and told her she was sacked. And she reacted very badly. You know, I lost a keycard to our bedroom yesterday morning. Well, maybe Jennifer got a hold of it. Sylvia had that blasted opera on full bung when she was in the bath, so I doubt if she would have heard of someone come into the room.
I came to Kilcrammon House because I knew Sylvia Harper was staying here to finish her latest novel. I'm such a fan of hers. Yesterday at breakfast, I went up to introduce myself. I told Sylvia how much I loved the books and the characters, especially Emma, but she just cut me off cold. I was quite upset about her at the time, but later I bumped into her husband. He said that Sylvia was under a lot of pressure at the moment, so as not to take it personally. Couldn't believe it when I looked in the papers this morning. I knew Sylvia was planning a big shock in the book. She said so on her official website a few weeks ago, and Mark had told me I wouldn't like it, but to kill off Emma, I can't believe Sylvia let her fans down like this.
So there they are. Each of them have interesting things to say, but team, you're looking for the truth. Out of what you've just seen, who do you think has the strongest motive so far?
I think it could be Jennifer,
Why?
because she was quite angry that she got sacked.
Yourself?
Look, I think it could have been Mark because he said that Sylvia didn't want him to tell, but he did, and I think he just wanted the publicity.
I would say James, because he seems very let down at the fact that it didn't turn out the way he liked it.
The team think that 3 of the suspects had motives for leaking Sylvia's novel to the press. Her agent, Jennifer Cumberland, had just been sacked. Fan James Mooney felt let down by his idol, and Sylvia's husband, Mark, could be trying to get publicity.
Well, why don't you write down all your information? Firstly, on the timeline. The timeline is where you plot where and when the suspects were, and this is the board where everything else goes on. The incident boards. Write down any interesting information that might help you solve the crime. If you try doing that now, maybe it'll help you along.
Okay, guys, can I have some help?
She had a bath at 2:20.
20 past 2. I think 20 past 3 she discovered that the mouse was on the other side of the
Yeah.
desk.
I wrote down 1:30. She did something.
I've got 1:30 as well.
So
I just wrote finish next to it.
Wait, she finished the last chapter.
Aye, that's what it'll be.
The team have come up with at least 3 different theories so far, so they're going to have to be disciplined with their thinkings if they're going to crack this case.
No, yeah, because he told her that she was sacked.
12 noon, he found out that he didn't have the key. That's right. So she found out about the mouse at 3:20 then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Now, we've heard what the suspects had to say about where they were and when, but I've got CCTV footage from the hotel security system. This will prove whether or not they've been telling the truth. Watch it very carefully, but be quick, because we can't detain the suspects for that long. I need to go back upstairs and comb the crime scene for more evidence.
2:20 p.m. First floor. It's
That's
Jenny
Jenny.
walking upstairs.
Well, she was running. if you ask
She's
me.
going into the mezzanine. Looks like now. Yeah, it's the mezzanine she's going into. That's Mark. 2:46. First floor. It's Mark's talking to Simon. And Mark goes downstairs with Simon. And then I think that's James goes into the mezzanine. 2:46. 3:09 is first floor. That's James coming down the stairs, and he's got something in his hand, and he's going down to the ground floor. 3:10 p.m. and that's Sylvia coming down the stairs. She's going down to the ground floor. This is 3:10. This is at the reception, front desk. Mark's at the reception with Sylvia. I think that's a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got something, I don't know what it is in their hand, but they're going back up the stairs.
If you could set these up in the forensics lab, please. Thank you very much. Team, gather round. Tell me what you know.
Well, I think Sylvia was in her room, and so was Mark. And Jenny came up the stairs to the mezzanine floor, and then at 2:46, Mark was coming down the stairs, and he met you.
Could we ask what you were talking to Mark about?
Mark came downstairs with me and asked if he could get a ham sandwich made for him, and then asked if he could change rooms.
At 3:09, James came up the stairs, and he went to the mezzanine floor. And at this point, Sylvia was having a bath.
Sylvia left her laptop unattended twice yesterday. The team spotted that Jennifer and James were both on the mezzanine floor when Sylvia was in the bath, but so was Mark. And Jennifer was still on the mezzanine when Sylvia left to go downstairs.
Follow me upstairs, I've got something interesting to show you. When a culprit commits a crime, they leave behind fingerprints, footprints, hairs, clothing fibres, which may give their identity away. This is called trace evidence. Luckily, I got to bedroom 5 before the maids cleaned it. As far as I know, no one has been in the room since the Harpers moved out at 4 p.m. yesterday, so the forensics should be reasonably intact. Now, the connecting door to Jennifer's room was locked from the Harpers' side. Hairs and other trace evidence found in the bedroom are plotted on this diagram. We know that the last 2 pages of the book were leaked via text messages, and I've brought you the suspects' mobile phones for analysis. You should cross-check the dialed and received calls and text numbers stored in the suspects' mobiles with the number for the showbiz desk at the tabloid newspaper. Get busy.
We're looking for this number here, in the Showbiz Echo, because that's where the pictures were published. This is James. The phone doesn't have a camera, so
we wouldn't have been able to take the picture.
Not the pictures. Mobile phone of Mark. Oh, hang on. There are 6 multimedia messages
Yeah,
that were
this
sent.
looks like the number.
So whatever the story was sent from this phone.
So it looks like Mark did it right now.
Phone could have been stolen.
This is slide 4. It's quite short, and this one was found near the desk. It's very thin, and it looks black. It's short, so it could have been either Mark's or James's hair. And then this is slide 5. This is the longest, so I'd think that this would be either Sylvia's or Jenny's. And it was found near the desk. It's kind of like red, like a red with brown in it, so it could have been Jennifer's hair, because she had kind of colour in it.
Team, gather round. Has the forensic analysis turned up any new leads, or has it just confirmed your earlier suspicions?
A couple of new leads, I think.
I still think it's Mark, and when we went up to forensics, he had the number of the newspaper in his mobile.
I think it could be Jennifer, because I found a hair that had red in it, and she's the only one that's got red in her hair.
I would say James still.
The tabloid newspaper received camera phone texts,
They
pictures.
came from Mark's phone.
Someone could have stolen his phone.
Well, how's about I send Mark's phone off to the lab for analysis for fingerprints? We've got to interrogate one suspect now.
Right.
Who would you like to interrogate?
And
James.
Why James?
He doesn't have a camera phone, but
He could have stolen
he could have
Mark's
stolen
phone.
his phone, and we've got a lot to ask him.
So James it is.
Yep.
Let's bring him down.
Take a seat, please.
When did you first start reading the books?
Well, when I was about 12, so that's what, 15 years ago now.
Would you see yourself as obsessed with her and the books?
I'm a big fan, and I think it's important that fans should have some input in what happens in the books, because they're the ones who reads them in the end. So, but no, I'm not. No.
Do you know what room Sylvia is staying in at the moment?
No, I have no idea.
Now you have met her, do you feel any differently about her?
When I first met her, she was quite rude to me. But I was told that she was, you know, she was under a lot of pressure, and I know that because she's very clever and she's an artist. So, my opinion hasn't changed. But I
You
was
don't
upset
accept
at first.
just no or yes.
Are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed
Why are you at the hotel at the moment?
because I knew Sylvia was writing her latest novel here, and I wanted to meet her.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. No, you can't keep me here. I haven't done anything wrong. This isn't right.
If you're innocent, Mr. Mooney, you'll soon go free. Keith, what's that?
It's fax. The fingerprints of both Sylvia and Mark Harper are found on the mouse and keyboard of Sylvia Harper's laptop. Tiny navy woolen fibres were found on the mouse of Sylvia Harper's laptop. The same tiny navy woolen fibres were also found on the main door handle to bedroom room 5.
Do you think this is a new lead?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because the only person that has a navy blue jumper on is James.
I suggest now's the time to update your incident board and maybe your timeline as well.
Got anything new for our timeline then?
Alright, he was wearing a navy woolen jacket or jumper.
Right, and I'll write these two prints.
What have you got? What about Mark? We know he sent the messages.
I wrote that down.
You've got that down.
Right.
Wicked.
The ending to Sylvia Harper's forthcoming novel has been leaked to a tabloid newspaper. Sylvia's agent, Jennifer Cumberland, was angered to find out yesterday that she is being sacked and replaced by Sylvia's husband, Mark. Mark, who is also an author, is retiring from writing to concentrate on managing his wife's career. In the forensics lab, the investigators discovered that a number of picture messages were sent to the tabloid newspaper from Mark Harper's mobile phone. Under interrogation, devoted fan James Mooney claimed that his admiration for Sylvia and her novels had not been affected despite her being rude to him yesterday.
So the team seem to be spotting all the relevant clues so far, and the investigation is progressing very well, but we just don't know what's around the corner.
This was found on the mezzanine corridor by the maids.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe...
I think I've found the missing key card. Listen up, a key card was found on the mezzanine corridor by a maid. It's programmed to open bedroom number 5. The key card was clean of prints apart from those of the maid who found it. What does that mean to you?
Could have used gloves.
The two they found blue, navy fibres on the door.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about first off?
Oh,
Well, James had,
We think it's James.
had the
because
James
he had the
jumper.
blue, the blue
But it's unlikely
jumper.
that his jumper would have been touching the doorknob. It's more likely that someone had gloves that were navy.
Would your fingerprints get through if you put your
No.
hand inside like that?
You've got 2 things to think about now. You've got the key card to think about. You've also got to think about, more importantly at the moment, who you're going to interrogate next.
Interview Mark.
Mark.
Going to do Mark. I think.
Mark. Why Mark?
He had the
Well-
multimedia messages on his phone.
Are you all agreed?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's bring him down.
Sit down, please. Where's this place?
This is the crime lab. Please sit down while I ask you some questions.
Right.
Do you think you could have dropped your key card in the mezzanine corridor?
I suppose I could have, aye. I went for a run and I could have dropped in the mezzanine corridor or out when I was having a run. I don't know where I dropped it.
The Sylvia in the room when you went out jogging?
She was, yes, she was, aye.
Why did you take the key then if she was in the room?
Because she was busy working on her manuscript and I just didn't want to disturb her when I got back, you know, so that's why I took it with me.
Did you meet anyone when you were out jogging?
I met James in the conservatory. I took him for a wee coffee there before I had a run because Sylvia had been rude to him that morning during breakfast, so I had a coffee with James in the conservatory and then I went for a run.
Do you have any navy blue gloves?
No. I have some black ones, some black leather ones, but no, I don't.
What were you feeling when Sylvia told you it was in the newspaper?
I was absolutely devastated, you know, who'd do that? Well, I have my suspicions who did it, like, you know. No names, no Jennifer, but I was absolutely devastated for her, all that work for nothing, you know.
Have you ever had any reason to phone the newspaper?
No, I haven't, no. No reason whatsoever.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. I've been in some bad hotels in my time, but this is ridiculous.
I do understand your frustration, but I'm sure you'll be happier when we find the culprits. Now, team, this is the time where you need to check your timelines, use your incident board, because I will be asking for a full report when I get back.
Right.
They talked about how he's a big fan of Sylvia. Well, so he says anyway.
Hey guys, look what I found. It's the fan website of Sylvia Harper and it's written by James. It says that she loves opera. Sylvia says, I put a few drops of relaxing oil in my bathwater and then I lie there and soak and let the delicious scent of the oil and music of Wagner at full volume just wash over me.
What's that you're looking at?
It's the website of Sylvia Harper.
Very nice, very nice. Did anything interesting come up from that?
Quite a lot, yeah.
Good, good. Well, tell me.
James wrote it and he knows that she likes to play her music very loud while she's in the bath.
OK, well, another piece of evidence has come to light. Listen to this. Mark's phone was dusted for prints earlier by the lab. Only his prints were found, but the scientists found the same navy blue wool traces on the handset that were found on Sylvia's mouse and on the handle of the main door to the Harper's bedroom.
James, I think. Because
He
he's
could
the
have
only
used
one
it
with the
himself.
navy blue
Woolly jumper.
jumper.
Gonna do another interrogation.
Yeah.
One more. 2 suspects to choose from.
I say we interview Jennifer.
Jennifer? Why?
She could have a motive
I
for
think
doing
she's got the most powerful motive out of everyone.
Yeah.
because she's been sacked.
That's good enough for me. Let's bring her down.
Just sit down, please.
Hello.
Were you ever in Sylvia's room?
No, actually I was almost in her room. I spoke to her husband at the adjoining door.
Okay, well, when in the room, we actually found a hair. Like, in the room, not at the door.
Oh, really? Well, I was maybe just inside the room.
Are you upset that you were sacked?
I'm absolutely furious that I was sacked. I think I've been treated very, very badly. But my lawyers are onto it now.
How do you feel about Sylvia's ending of her new book?
Well, I thought it was absolutely dreadful. I mean, she can't kill off the main character. Her fans will be absolutely devastated. I did advise her just to, you know, to change the ending.
2:20 p.m. Why were you running up the stairs?
Well, I had a disagreement with Mark at lunch, and I hadn't quite finished, so I ran to speak to him again.
Thank you very much.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer, and so will you, Buster.
This will all be cleared up very soon. Now, team, think about it. 3 of them are innocent. 1 of them is the guilty party. You need to find out which one it is. Now, get to it. Get discussing.
Right.
Right, okay, well...
I'm still kind of confused now because then when she says she was having an argument with him.
Yeah, but
She
did she
wasn't.
say she hadn't finished an argument, so she went up to finish it?
She says she was at the door, Sylvia's, so that's maybe when she went up the stairs.
But still leaves us with the mystery of the navy blue jumper.
I don't think it was Sylvia.
Sylvia?
No,
Definitely not.
nothing's pointing towards her.
Mark.
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 I don't think it is him.
I don't think it is anymore. He's got the blue jumper,
I
navy
think
blue
it's
jumper.
between these two.
I think so.
I think it's James.
So do I.
I think it's James as well.
It's time to bring down the final suspect.
This is ridiculous. I'll have this place shut down, you know.
I'm going to have to ask you just to keep quiet and bear with me. You've seen all the evidence. You've interrogated 3 of the 4 suspects. I need to know who is your prime suspect.
James. Why? Well, we think that the opportunity to do it is because he knows that she likes playing our music loud when she's in the bath.
Forensic says he's blue navy fibres from his jumper are
On the phone, the
all over the
mouse.
place.
So you think the weight of the evidence is pointing the finger at James? Let's see if you're right.
It was James Mooney. Sylvia is James's idol, so he was devastated when she dismissed his ideas about his favourite character, Emma. When Mark left his keycard in the conservatory, it presented an irresistible opportunity. James realised that this was his chance to find out what Sylvia had done with the new book. He just had to wait for the right opportunity. James probably overheard Mark asking me if he could order some food for his wife, and assumed he would be out the way for a while. Sylvia had her music on so loud it could easily be heard from the mezzanine corridor, and as a fan, James knew that this probably meant that Sylvia was in the bath, so he decided to chance it. He was worried about how the book might end, but he never expected Sylvia to kill off his favourite character. Emma couldn't die. He had to do something to force Sylvia to change the ending. Thinking on his feet, he used Mark's camera phone to leak the plot to the newspaper. It was a pretty smart plan, but in trying to conceal his fingerprints, James left incriminating fibres at the crime scene from the sleeve of his jumper.
Thank you very much for your cooperation. You're all free to go. You stay right there. I am proud to welcome 3 more recruits into the academy. Congratulations. Who did you suspect?